Uja, Uja, Uja. Greetings. I am Sunil Satnahasra along with Nefer 10. Welcome to our early morning ancient Egyptian devotional dedicated to Goddess Net and all her mystic forms, gods and goddesses, who are derived from her transcendental essence. The liturgy, which you will be able to see on screen, is recited in the ancient Egyptian language, the Medu. English and Brazilian Portuguese translations is provided for you. You can see these translations on screen directly below the hieroglyphic text transliteration. You are welcome to participate by chanting along in your worship space or home, or wherever you may happen to be during our service. Or you are also welcome to listen quietly in a contemplative mode. Following the devotional, Washu in the Kemetic language, recitation of the liturgy, and meditation, Uwa in the Kemetic language, practice, we will have a brief wisdom, Rek in the Kemetic language, teaching by Sehu Khepera, leader and priest of the Neter Temple of Net. Before we begin, please remember to mute all devices. We will now begin. Presented on the screen at the moment is a stone-carved depiction of the facing pylons of the Temple of Net from the statue of Hinat. On the left and right sides are the pylons in which one of the symbols of Goddess Net sits atop a papyrus standard. Her emblem is her two arrows crossed and tied to her sheath. This symbolizes the protection and resurrection of the soul within this place, the temple. Behind the emblems of Net on both sides are the flags, which mean Neter, divinity. In the center of the pylons at the bottom is the opening to the temple, and above that is a pyramidal structure which symbolizes the four equilateral planes of the universe and the mystic number 4. Above that, at the very top, is the cow hieroglyph symbol, which means rising. So it symbolizes the sun rising between the mountains, the Aket symbol, and for the initiate, the emergence of spirit consciousness. Net nesumer Better and Jedef Nesu Tatinet Perpeni Banket Mert En Hepsed Neb En Kaen Geri Hepertep SSN M Het Ne Inat Ren F Jeta
Net nesut me net hem inev. Jedaf nesut hetap jinet pekeru. Minke min em heb set neb en kain. Geri heb het tep es en em het net. Hinat ben ef jetam.
Bet Nesumo Puneter Nine Jedef Nesu Heteptine Perkeru Benket Mert En Hepset Neb En Kai Gary Hepertep SSN M Het Net Inat Ren F Jeta
Net nesut me net hem ineb. Jedaf nesut hetap jinet pekeru. Make it me im heb set neb en kain. Geri heb het tep es en im het net. Inat ren f jetam.
Et Nesuma Puneter Ine Jedef Nesu Heteptine Perkeri Benket Mert Em Hepset Neb En Kai Geri Hepertep SSN M Het Ne Inam Ren F Jeta
Net nesut me net hem ineb. Jedaf nesut hetap jinet pekeru. Minkert me im heb set neb in kain. Geri heb het tep es en im het net. Inat len f jetam.
Et Nesuma Puneter Ine Jedef Nesu Heteptine Perkeri Benket Mert Em Hepset Neb En Kain Geri Hepertep SSN M Het Ne Inam Ren F Jeta
Net nesut me net hem ineb. Jedaf nesut hetap jinet pekeru. Minkert men im heb set neb in kain. Geri heb her tep es en im het net. Inat ren f jetam.
Iwamu Benefu Beneferu Aputi Anasetergira Neferne Buben
Dua amum. She efu ben f en heruak huchi. Anetej herkera. Nefer neb ubem.
Vamos. Erefube efemerua kuti. Tetetea. Nefer nebubem.
Duamu. Shet F uben F en hiru akuti. Anetej herkera. Nefer neb ubem.
Vamos. Erefube efemerua kuti. Tetetea. Nefer nebubem.
Duamu. Shet F uben F en hiru akuti. Anetej herkera. Nefer neb ubem.
Vamos. Estuve ofendido a Cuti, la tercera, never, never, ben.
Duamu. Shet F uben F en hiru akuti. Anetej herkera. Nefer neb ubem.
Ari Tinsakert, Aset Uru. Kef Uru. Nesuti Hatet Net Perkeru. Didi Eskaua Bamunet. Nefer Shepsi. Etne Ate
Nesudi hitep net pehiru. Didi eska hua bamuneb nefeshepsi. Hitnet. Hitep.
Nesuti Hatet Net Perkeru Didi Estaua Amuneb Nefer Shepsi Etne Ate
Nesudi hitep net pehiru. Didi eska hua bamuneb nefeshepsi. Hitnet. Hitep.
Nesuti Hatet Net Perkeru Didi Estaua Amunet Nefer Shepsi Etne Ate
Nesudi hitep net pehiru. Didi eska hua bamuneb nefeshepsi. Hitnet. Hitep.
Esuti Hatepnet Perkeu Didi Eskaua Amunet Nefer Shepsi Etnet Te
Nesuji hetep net picheru. Didi eska uabamoneb nefeshepsi. Hetnet hetep.
Tua em Shamsu en Nebejer, Seshu en Keperi, Dua Asar Nebrestau, Paut Neteru, Ahat Amin Neteker, Anetet Hir Kikenti, Amentet, Unefer Ab Abdu, Matentu, Ai Ku Anek Arati, Restau. Seteka, Sekert, Aku Sari Nas. Bed Center, Set Mk, Def Seat Netter, Uni Entet, Ena Yashem Netter. Ali Sedge, Ab Uwa Netter, Abu Pen Ha Asar, Abu Pen Asar, Spur M Hill, Arit Pert, Nahats Sa, Wajit Par Netter, Asa Ari Peru, Het en Aset, Abuye Tuche, Meduje Yan, Aset Sam, Ujat, Setep Saher Amseti, Enti Amsa Asar, Sa Amset, Asar Amset, Meduje Yan, Nebehet, Apsheta, Ari Besa, Happy, Enti Sa Asar, Sa Happy, Asar Pu Happy, Meduje Yan, Net Seduara, Semesha Hu, Net Ari Maket En, Duamutak, Enti Amsa Asar, Sa Duamutak, Asar Pu Duamutak, Meduje Yan, Circuit Nkake Sekedet, Sahu Neb Ari Maket Enkwepsunek, Entet Amsa Asar Sa Kwepsunek, Asar Pu Kwepsunek, Yanater Ben Ben Paketa Yanater Paketa Nebejer Jed Anatech et Asar Putra Makti sake setu sakake.
Nebejer jed anetej hert asar putra. Makdi sake seto sakake.
Nebujurjed anatetirke asar putra mati sake setu sakake.
Nebejer jed anetej hert asar putra. Makdi sake seto sakake.
Nebujurjed anatetirke asar putra mati sake setu sakake.
Nebejeh jed anetej hert asar putra. Makdi sake setu sakake.
Nebujurjed anatetirke asar putra Makti sake setu sake.
Nebejeh jed anetej hert asar putra. Makdi sake setu sakake.
Ari Jansager, Ari Duaker, Ekal Uashu, Net Net Wanet, Sefekera Sen,
Net net duanet. Sefek keras sen hues.
Net Net Duanet, Sefekera Sen,
Net net duanet. Sefek keras sen hues.
Net Net Duanet, Sefekera Sen,
Net net duanet. Sefek keras sen hues.
Net Net Duanet, Sefekera Sen,
Net net duanet. Sefek keras sen hues.
Oh, come to
Amun mut consul.
on the moon.
Amun mut consul.
Moon, moon, come to
Amun mut consul. amor, multiconsul.
Om Purnamata.
Om amor apta.
Om
Om amor apta.
Om Purnamata.
Om amor apta.
Om Amor.
Om amor apta.
Om Sara Seru.
Om asar aset hiru.
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 Peru Makeru.
Hiru mak 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 hiru.
Asen. Se. Se.
Aset. Aset. Aset.
Se. Se. Se.
Aset. Aset. Aset.
Se.
Aset. 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 Ase.
Amae. Nebe. Uja sene. Arinete.
Ama au en ra. Nebet. Ang uja senem. Arineteru.
Ene. Uja sene. Arinete.
Ama au en ra. Nebet. Ang uja senem. Arineteru.
Maera. Nebe. Uja sene. Arinete.
Ama en ra. Nebet. Ang uja senem. Arineteru.
Maera. Nebe. Uja sene. Arinete. Duara.
Ama en ra. Nebet. Ang oja senem. Arineteru. Duara.
Nuk atien keperu.
Nuk. Atien keperu.
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 Keheru. 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 Keheru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
Keheru. 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 Keheru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
Keheru. 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 Keheru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
Keheru. Heru, Heru, Heru,
Heru, Heru, Heru, Heru,
Duatu Heru, Duatu Heru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Duatu Heru, Duatu Heru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Duatu Heru, Duatu Heru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Duatu Heru, Duatu Heru,
Dua tu Heru, Dua tu Heru,
Nuk Nebeja,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nuk Nebeja,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nuk Nebeja,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nuk Nebeja,
Nuk Nebeje,
Nefer Remsha, and Aton,
Nefer Remtra in Atom,
Nefer Remsha, and Aton,
Nefer Remtra in Atom,
Nefer Remsha, and Aton,
Nefer Remtra in Atom,
Nefer Remsha, and Aton.
Nefer Remtra in Atom.
Makeru Ba Nebeja
Makiru Winba Nebeje,
Makeru Ba Nebeja
Makiru Winba Nebeje,
Makeru Ba Nebeja
Makiru Winba Nebeje,
Makeru Ba Nebeja
Makiru Winba Nebeje.
Nuk Ua Kua
Nuk, kua, kua.
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 Nukmat 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 Nukmat
Nukmaat, 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 nukmaat.
Nukmat 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 Nukmat
Nukmaat, 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 Nukmaat,
Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat,
Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat,
Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat,
Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat, Nukmaat.
Nukmaat, Newt, Asar, 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 Asar.
Asa, 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 asa.
Sara, 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 Ah, Sara. Pete au, Ankh Mjer, Oas Hena, Nefu Kepitu, Mbaat, Mdejasu, Sunu Ayam Hotep, Aset, Oa Sujaheru, Suja Menut, Nebu Sen, Fset, Fsen, Asar Aset, Hetepi, Suja Aluhitu Yasor, Nesheshu, Nebu En, U, Shemu, Metmetu, Tau Psep, Nebu Nesh, Theta, Ua Menti, Eru Kut Teken, An Apt, Tesu Kem, Hena Sefa, Ha Ra, Dijit Kat, Hena Asar Peta, Keperu, Medut Ra, Kat, Nefi Asar Keperu, Uahai, Uaker. Inuk aset perke nayet. Ret enau seter samedu and Jehuti. Her tep maat em pet ta atert. Aset neter nefer ger. Ku ankseski. SD a ament. Sa enken. Hu f enen. Paul f. Ready f. Nepkep. Dit hekep. F her. FT ent. NF tawi. Uahai. Uaker. Teruma teru. Teruma teru. Teruma teru. Teruma teru. Merait mesra. Merait mesra. Merait mesra. Merait mesra. Nuk kepra. Amduau. Ra emahauf. Temu ami mesher.
Nuk Khepera Amduat. Ra en Auf. Temu ami mashel.
Nuk kepra. Amduau. Ra emahauf. Temu ami mesher.
Nuk Khepera Amduat. Ra en Auf. Temu ami mashel.
Nuk kepra. Amduau. Ra emahauf. Temu ami mesher.
Nuke
Wahai,
Khepera Amduat Ra Ahau Temu Ami Mashir. Sorry.
Wahai, Uwake. Says, netter, netter, move, never, out, just say, sie, say, netter, netter, move, never, out, just say, sie, say, netter, netter, move, never, just say, sie, say, netter, netter, move, never, just say, sie, say. Uwasheri, Uwa Tef'aha. Amen. Amen. Um, 10, 10, 10, 10. Peace, 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 peace. Accept. Dua, attack.
Dua,
Oja, Dua. Um, Sunasetna has, can you bring up the meditation slide just for a moment? The other one, the one right after that. Dua. So I just wanted to briefly point out that this meditation and chant is very important, and this is coming directly from the papyrus text, the text of Unefer. That's what you see in the brown area. That's the original text. And it relates to removing obstacles as you go through the process of the weighing of the heart. So it's highly effective in cleansing the mind and removing obstacles and impediments to spiritual progress. So, don't take it lightly. It's an important utterance, hekal. So I just wanted to point that out. That it is something you can chant on your own, in your own worship space, before you go to bed at night or as you wake up in the morning, something to focus the mind on removing spirit obstacles to spiritual progress. Okay, dua. So now we're going to go back to the pyramids. Okay. So we completed verse 1, and these are the highlights as I was talking through the text. And so we completed verse 1. Now we're going to go to verse 2. And for verse 2, we're going to go for today. We're going to stop here so that we're going to do this segment from here to here to cover our brief discussion. And as you recall, this is coming from the Ben stone of Amenemhat. So what I did here was I enlarged the text. It's still a little blurry, but you can make it out to do the translations. Sorry. And the first line is a transliteration. So this is a transliteration. And then this is the translation, like a word for word translation of the transliteration. And then I wrote out in more of an extensive way the prose aspect because it has some uh, esoteric and technical issues related to this line. So we'll discuss that as we go. So we'll do the transliteration and then we'll go to the philosophical aspect. So Je, Meru, Di, Pet, Akit, Nefert, Shikem, Dijet, Iua, and that's read here. So Je, Meru, Di, Pet, Akit, Nefert, Shikem, Dijet, Iua. These words pertain to what is given in heaven, the abode of spirit-like consciousness, which are the beauties, goodness of spirit consciousness, and spiritual prosperity that are bestowed by the dual goddesses, Wajit and Nekabet, through the opening of spirit consciousness absorption, in which there is perennial awareness of divine consciousness. This absorption in higher consciousness, in the concomitant perennial awareness of spirit-like consciousness, is your divine inheritance. So first, these words of this line is talking about what is essentially what is experienced in higher consciousness, this term pet, that is translated to heaven, is a mystic metaphor for higher consciousness, in which you experience a supermundane reflection of divine self. And that is your Ak nature. So this term Akhet here means the abode of spirit-like consciousness. So it relates to experiencing your inner light nature, your Aku, your Ak nature, which is beyond your lower mind. And that is what heaven is. Heaven is your spirit-like consciousness aspect. So we're looking at this term heaven from the intent of the sages, which is a mystical look into the nature of self. So it doesn't have the same connotation as what would be put forth or purported by the Western concept of heaven. This is looking at the inner mystery of the soul, the spirit, which is within the heart of every human being. But most people are locked off from this realization because of egoism. So this higher consciousness is related in a metaphysical, from a metaphysical perspective, when you're in the meditative movement towards your higher spirit-like essence. it appears as a movement upwards, as going up, but essentially you're expanding into the cell. And this spirit-like consciousness is like, what if you were, you know that inside a light bulb, there's a sort of like a filament where the light is projected from. So how would it be if you were not the bulb, but you were the light within the bulb, glowing, emitting? And that is heaven, is referred to as heaven, pet. So it's a mystical experience of divine nature. And to experience such higher consciousness, you need purity of heart. So that's ma'at. You need purity of mind. So that's Beck, that's Stefu. And you need removal of spiritual impediments. That's why the meditation and hekau, that coming from the papyrus Unefer that we spoke about just before we started this talk, is important. The removal of the barriers to higher consciousness. When that occurs, then this higher consciousness can be experienced. So you need cleanliness. You use the purity of the heart, purity of the mind. You need removal of barriers, which is a sublimation of egoism and unrighteousness in the heart. And what you get from that, if we move to the next term, the term Nefert here relates to beauties. And that means the goodness and the purity of spirit consciousness, and a deeper cleansing of the heart. And what I mean by that, a deeper cleansing of the unconscious mind. So purity of heart. And that further leads to the Nefert is relating to the beauties, and it relates to spiritual prosperity. Spiritual prosperity is when the barriers are removed, the realizations occur, the realizations of the nature of spirit, that spiritual prosperity. So you have two types of prosperity. You can be prosperous materially, having money, material things, objects. You can be materially prosperous and spiritually, yeah, a mess. However, you need to have a well-balanced life You need to work on your mundane aspects. That is to say, you have to work on, being able to take care of yourself, eating a proper diet, being able to clothe yourself, uh, so that when you practice the spiritual discipline, your mind can be centered on the practice, on the contemplative, meditative process while you're doing your formal practice to mitigate some of the waywardness of the mind going from thought to thought, and you're not fully in a concentrative mode on the practice. So it's beneficial to take care of the mundane aspects of life so that you can allow the mind to concentrate wholly on self-discovery. This spiritual prosperity is given by these two goddesses, the 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 Shekemti. Shekemti means that these are the goddesses of power related to life force energy, life force power. And you need the goddesses, essentially you need the goddesses on your side. They're the ones that reconfigure the mind, they reconfigure the soul. And they are the vehicle that is used for higher consciousness movement. And by Shakemti, it is relating to Wajit and Nekabet. And here on this is the mask of Tutankhamun. And and there are two goddesses on the mask of Tutankhamun. So here this is a Nemes scarf as they call it. And he's also wearing hold on 1 minute. I have to plug in the computer. Oja. So there are two goddesses on his forehead. And actually, this is what is called a Nemi scarf, and he's also wearing a Haru necklace. And this is called a wask. And actually, I'm using the mask of Tutankhamun here, but this wask, there was an organic one that was also found in his tomb that was made from plants and berries. But you also find them made with beads and stones. But in any way, that this is an architectural representation of any spiritual aspirant who has attained a higher consciousness level. And on his forehead, the two goddesses are perched. And the vulture is Nekabet here. So here's Nekabet. I'm sorry, here's Nekabet. This is the vulture. And the serpent is Wajit. So Nekabet and Wajit. And what this relates to is that the the personality has, through the power of these goddesses, has become absorbed in the awareness of spirit, spirit consciousness. And not only that, when you become absorbed in spirit consciousness, it means that that when I say absorb, I don't mean that you visit there for a few minutes and then you come back down. You visit there for a few minutes and then you come back down. Absorption means that you are there perennially, and that's what all of these symbols mean on the mask of Tutankhamun. He's wearing the wasp, which has Heru at the ends, the face of Heru, the Nemi scarf, which is the scarf of royalty, and not physical royalty, not the royalty of being a king or monarch. That's not what the scarf means. It means the royalty of self-discovery as one with the divine. When that occurs, you are a royal. You are a you are majestic. So you are a majesty. And the beard is a symbol of divinity. So you have, and the color gold itself. Gold relates to the the essence of the divine, the pure essence of the divine. And the blue, the dark blue here, relates to the unfabricated essence of the divine, meaning the total whole oneness in absolute nature. In other words, uh, Uwakua, the only one, the absolute nature. More succinctly, non-duality of spirit consciousness. So these are the when this realization occurs, this is what is referred to as the nefert, the beauties of the divine. And this absorption, if you in a higher consciousness, so you have absorption in a higher consciousness with perennial awareness. So your awareness and your absorption are perennial. It's unbroken and unreducible by ego, because the ego is fully pure, and the egoism has been transmuted into egolessness. And thus, this higher consciousness realization is your divine inheritance. So think about that. That means that you have always and will always be one with the divine. And the only thing that's keeping you away from that inheritance, which is the realization of that mystical truth, is your egoism, your pride, impurity in the heart. And when that is removed, when that impurity in the heart is removed, then you realize your inheritance. You are essentially one with the divine. If we go back, this term here, this term, Iwa, means inheritance. And the term jet here, this term jet means to spread out. So what we're talking about here is expansion in consciousness that leads to your divine inheritance of realization of higher spirit consciousness self. You are one with that ultimate reality. And whatever you think of yourself as, you have been your Akh, divine spirit-like nature, is your true personality. And that personality has been born from the transcendental spirit. And therefore, the inheritance of your spirit-like nature is to discover your all-encompassing nature. So your all-encompassing nature is your true parent, your true mother and father. And you can only get what they have through self-discovery. And that self-discovery, when that self-discovery occurs, there's the removal of the process that leads to the the process of life and death. So in other words, you discover your immortal nature. And saying it like that, but these things are difficult to do. So the idea is that you have to practice and practice and practice and be ever vigilant in your awareness of higher consciousness. And so there's no substitute for your meditation, your devotion, your right action, your wisdom, teaching, philosophy. There's no substitute for those spiritual things, like your netaket, your divine things. Because if you're not doing those divine things, then you'll not be able to cash in on your inheritance, which is the discovery of one's own true divine nature. And that the goddesses will not be able to take you there. So you have to align yourself for which the goddesses are able to allow for higher spirit consciousness in which you discover your Ak. And you inherit your spirit-like consciousness realization. And that's what it means to be, you're in the royal family. The royal family are the Neteru, the gods and goddesses. And you inherit where the gods and goddesses have come from. These two goddesses are actually manifestations of Goddess Net. And we could talk more about that next time. So dua everyone for joining in. I hope this was helpful, and we'll do a part 2 next week as we go further into verse 2 of the text on the Ben stone of Amenemhat in our study of the mysteries of the pyramids. Net net dua net sefekera senuen. Net net dua net sefekera senuen. Emahara emeter. Emahara emeter. Om hetep 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 hetep. Hetep. Do everyone until we meet again. Hetep. Oh, and one last thing. I haven't spoken to Asar Ahmad about this yet, but I'm planning to do a chant session from the Amduat, perhaps next Friday. So if we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, I'll send out the notice for that. We'll chant a specific scripture from the Amduat. It'll be about an hour. Yeah. I think you wouldn't want to miss that. So the notices will go out after we have the discussion and set it up properly and things like that. Okay, hetap, dua.